Hello. Nana Anna, what could you please share with us a general message? I'm going to channel Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, for a general message. Dear Kelly, thank you for continuing to do your best to be a hollow bone for these messages. Our goal with these lessons is to explain to humanity the value of being conscious before you act. Because right now, humanity is a child of God, a collective child of God, you could say. And this reality is the third dimension, where the humanity collective is learning about separation from God, which involves limitations and slavery and toxins and fighting and war and all of these things. So it's just time. It's just the place in the manifestation of the third dimension where the humans figure out how to leave that sort of prison consciousness. It's a prison planet because humans are attracting to themselves a prison-like consciousness, a slavery consciousness. So the collective of humanity is agreeing to be in a slavery consciousness, which is manifesting in the third dimension like this. And it's an exploration. It has a beginning and an end. So the way Kelly tries to see it in her head when we're telling her this is she sees it as a third dimensional object in her head, even though she knows it's a fifth. It is a third dimensional object, kind of, but there are parallel timelines. So it's fractal. That's the word, fractal. Every timeline is a fractal of the whole because it's holographic. Einstein learned this in that lifetime. He was learning about spirituality as he was studying math because he saw the patterns from what he was studying in math with what he was also learning on the emotional journey that he was on. So he's one of those people in history that anchored that in the consciousness of the collective, because that was his part to anchor. And every single person on the planet has their own part of karma that they took on to heal, part of the puzzle piece to put together, part of the mystery to solve. And they had all these different lifetimes that lead them on this little journey and puzzle, which is multidimensional. There's a multiverse. So Kelly's experiencing this week, she's understanding what the purpose of the Illuminati is. The Illuminati is like the jester that is up on stage dancing around to entertain the audience because the audience chose to go to a show. Okay, the child of God chose to explore duality by pretending God doesn't exist, and they create their own world. But, you know, the problem is that they're trying to separate from God. And so there's sadness involved and pain involved. And so just like the prodigal son, eventually he wants to go home to his father. And you guys are about to step through the door to go back home to your creator. And Kelly is trying to explain that. She has to explain it again and again and again and again, because it's multidimensional in consciousness, and you can't get there linearly. You can't get there. You got to break down. This is the process. You got to completely break down your third dimensional identity of self, become like liquid, just like a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. You have to completely go into a cocoon, dissolve completely, and then rebuild it very intentionally, part by part by part by part, but you're still not ready to come out of the cocoon. The butterfly puts together the bones and all the little pieces of the wings, like and then those pieces are sewn together. It's like the butterfly is, the structure is built first of the butterfly within the cocoon, the chrysalis, and then the glue is put on the ends of those bigger the bones, or attached by the cartilage of the wings, whatever words they're using in butterfly anatomy or whatever. And then once the whole wing is got cartilage, it's got bones, and then it's got a layer of kind of fur or whatever, hair or whatever that soft part is, the dusty part. And the very last thing that happens is the fluids and the oxygen, they come in last. Okay, so that's what happens inside the chrysalis. The caterpillar dissolves completely. The spirit is still there. The intelligence of that butterfly is still there through the whole process. But the body shape shifts from solid to liquid to solid. But the way the butterfly gets through the chrysalis, it has to develop a muscle and an oxygenation that bust out of the chrysalis. And it doesn't happen until the fluid can permeate all of the entire butterfly wing and everything. So it's just like a baby being born and starting to breathe. That's how a butterfly comes out. And Kelly's learning about this because she's learning about birth. And she wants to understand this transformation of consciousness. And she's seeing it happen in herself, where God has completely broken down everything she ever thought she believed. And now she is replacing those beliefs with a new structure, bit by bit, which Kelly is very painstakingly confirming with herself. Do I believe this? Do I believe this? And then we're going to infuse her with passion, so that it all sort of opens up and takes flight at the same time. And it has to be like that. You couldn't take a caterpillar and grow wings over time until it can fly. That's not how the caterpillar works. So it had to be like that. And what we recommend for everybody on the planet is to consider where you are today. Consider where your joy is and what you think your joy looks like. And instead of trying to make that happen in the 3D, start with feeling your gratitude for that creative inspiration, and feel joy because you are inspired by something. And then as you rest and spend time and marinate in the joy of just what your imagination brings to you, you're naturally going to attract to you a physical manifestation of some kind related to that joy. It's not going to be exactly what you thought the dream looked like, but it's going to be in your reality. What Kelly sees a lot is with food. She travels all over the world when she eats. And she knows what it's like to travel. She has traveled, so she can draw on those memories. But anybody can do it. You can draw on your own personal memories and bring them into your now moment and manifest that in your feeling place. And when you do that, just by pretending or being grateful, you will attract the physical reality of it in your life. But it just depends on how many different places you're sending all of your desire, and you got to have integrity in it. It's got to be able to show up all at the same time. So, we recommend that you be here now, be grateful for what you have, spend time in your imagination, and that will build the bones of the butterfly that you're going to transform into. And then as you breathe and you ground and you take responsibility and you eliminate stress in your life, you're going to open up space for the inspiration to inflate that butterfly. And so it is.